Carl, thank you so much for your reflection on resilience. I was really struck by the common attributes of resilient people when facing hurdles before them, be it injury or depression or even somebody trying to fulfill the goal of an Olympic gold medal. Whatever they may be, those 5 attributes of resilience that you listed: competence, confidence in one's own strengths, coping by using problem-solving skills, a sense of purpose, and the regulation of one's own emotional responses. That story of that climber really shows resilience in a harsh situation, and that was such an amazing story. His resilience literally saved his life. And I think these common attributes reply to communities too. And I see them here at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Clemson. Today is the day that we mark that 2 years ago in March, in 2020, a year I don't think any of us will forget, UUFC closed the doors to in-person worship. And at that time, the minister, Terry Bailoff, the staff, some worship and tech volunteers intrepidly regrouped 2 weeks later for online worship. It was not clear how long that lockdown would last. I don't know about you, but I remember thinking, as I had my own job at the time, working as a hospital chaplain and a child in school and a husband teaching classes at the university, we all thought, we'll just hunker down for a little bit, kind of like waiting for a hurricane to pass. And then things would be better soon. Wow, were we wrong? Things have stretched on so much longer than we expected. Later that year, in August of 2020, I arrived as your new interim minister amid this questioning period. There was anxiety. There were no vaccines yet. There was a sense that things were not sure of getting better with regards to public health. But I came with high hopes of getting to know you as your interim minister and to learn how to be in community with you without being able to see into your eyes, even over a cup of coffee. Zoom became our friend. If we didn't know what Zoom was before then, we knew what it was now, and it was forever to be a part of our landscape. And we had to figure out day by day, week by week, how to connect with each other in meaningful ways. And here we are 2 years later. And I would say that UUFC has been resilient. And those 5 common attributes are evident. UUFC has shown its competence. You gathered those with competence in leadership during these times to steer the ship, even as you were rebuilding it. UUFC has shown confidence in its strengths. You leaned into what you did best. You cared for each other first and foremost. And you have shown that you can cope by using problem-solving skills. You did so many things during these past 2 years, such as creating a reentry team that responded with the immediate task of deciding when and how to reopen, and setting up meticulous plans for how to come back together over time safely. And it was the values that guided that team that are still in play now, to care for those who are the most vulnerable. The music staff shifted the way music was produced for worship. You learned how to sing with software and connect the voices together. Corey and Paula and Jorge recorded from home. The director of Lifespan and Faith Formation and the RE committee developed new ways to support families and children. And the membership and caring committee pulled together phone trees. We made postcards to send to people. And we made ourselves a focus on those who were living alone. We had special fundraisers, and there were even sweet treats delivered to people's homes on Valentine's Day. The stewardship reached out to a consultant to guide them through this awkward and difficult time of trying to figure out who we were in this pandemic and how to move through that to our goals and hopes and dreams. The finance committee worked hard, and there were so many other countless ways, such as finding funding for a giant tent to put in the parking lot. So many things. You had a sense of purpose, that other notary thing about having a sense of resilience. You were going to get through this together, and you were not only going to survive, but thrive. And last, even when things were hard, you got control of your emotions. You stayed focused on the goal, the community and the values that you share. And week after week, you maintained focus on each other, the most vulnerable, those who were isolated, and families and children. And as hard as it was, you kept your cool and you cared for one another. This resilience is an expression of your covenant, which I just remembered we did not say together this morning as I lit the chalice. Can we say it now? It's on the order of service. Because I was going to read it in my sermon. We gather together in a spirit of love, with justice as our guide. This is our chosen covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth with freedom, and to care for one another. I'm reminded of my minister growing up, and First UU Houston would often forget things, and so one of the choir members over time developed a bingo card of which things would be forgotten or overlooked. So you could start one for me, and today it was the sharing of the covenant. I think the other week I forgot to put out the chalice, and then I remembered later, so I apologize in advance. Carl pointed out earlier that the word love is used very often from this pulpit. and I like that. He and I can duke it out over philosophical debate over coffee. I know that Carl respects specificity, and examples of such a broad word of love are desired. Well, here is a direct example of love today, Carl. During the past 2 years, the ways that UUFC has shown its resilience is love in action. You have maintained your community through thick and thin. Like the mountain climber, your literal survival depended upon it. And this can be seen in the recent pledge drive. Your goal was to raise $165,000 for 2022, and you almost met that goal. While it was short of about $10,000, there is still great strength to see. And without knowing the details of the reports, I want to share with you that the average pledge was up 22%. Wow. This is a great sign of strength. This is a show of commitment. You are caring for each other and are strengthening the fellowship in your giving. A year from now, when this congregation is searching for a new minister, that report will be part of your packet. And those potential candidates will see that as a sign of strength. During this challenging period, these past 2 years, UUFC, has shown all the tangible signs of resilience and love. It has been an honor to be with you as your interim minister during these past 2 years. And as we close out my time with you for 1 more year, you will be moving into your search year next year in 2023, and I am looking forward to it. I want to see you shine. I want to see in that packet the community and the people reflected in it that I have come to know and love. We don't know what this next year will bring with regards to public health. It seems that the pandemic is moving in the direction of an endemic situation, but the numbers keep dropping. I heard of rumblings of a new Omicron variant. Who knows? We will see what comes down the line. But through thick and thin, you have stuck to your goals and your values. So whatever the future brings, I believe that UUFC will remain salient, resilient, and grounded in love in the Clemson community, guided by its mission to be an inclusive religious community, sharing open minds, spiritual growth, and compassionate action. May it be so.